Very, very sad news we have today. You might have already heard about a school shooter who shot up a Catholic school in Minneapolis, Minnesota on August 27th, 2025.
We are live in Minneapolis following this devastation to the South Minneapolis church community. It is truly heartbreaking out here at Annunciation Catholic Church after shots fired out yesterday during an all-class mass. Now, this time of the year, people are supposed to be celebrating the return to school, the Minnesota State Fair, but instead these kids on the second day of school were praying and had to deal with gunfire as well as losing some of their classmates. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Many people here are describing it as a terrifying tragedy. Now, right now, the scene has calmed down quite a bit since last night. We got here at about 2 o'clock yesterday, and I can tell you the streets were lined with police. They were lined with neighbors looking for answers. A large media presence here as well. But right now, all that is left is those flowers, those candles, people walking up to pay their respects and just be here for the community during these tough times. Now let's take a look though at the scene Wednesday morning, because it was a massive presence out here. Now the children who died, 2 children died. They were just 8 and 10 years old. Absolutely heartbreaking. At this hour, Minneapolis police chief says the 13 victims who are still in the hospital are expected to survive. Of course, 17 others were hurt in this shooting, but they do say all are expected to survive. Now, this all happened around 8:30 Wednesday morning. Kids were praying in an all-class mass. That's when a shooter rained shots from outside the church through stained glass windows into the church while students and teachers were praying.
A 23-year-old man by the name of Robert Westman took the lives of 2 innocent children and injured 17 others. Robert took his own life after the incident. More details of Robert's life was revealed. He identified as a transgender. In fact, if you pay attention to what most of the school shooters had in common, they almost all identified the same way. Are you seeing the pattern? Because I am. This picture just shows a certain pattern that most will get and some will not get. These are the same group of people that say us Christians attack them, but I don't see Christians going to their events planning to unalive them. I see Christians preaching the gospel to them because it is the power of God to those who are saved. This is what happens when the world allows individuals with mental health problems to be rewarded for their delusion. We allowed this nonsense for 4 years when the former president Joe Biden didn't care about the truth, but instead fed a certain group of people lies. These individuals end up crashing out because reality isn't what they want to be a part of. And it shows how far someone is willing to go to change reality. These were babies who had a purpose in life, and someone who wasn't in their right state of mind was able to take their life away from them. My heart goes out to the families, man. I wanted to play a clip of what was in Robert's diary and the motive behind the incident. Check this out.
In 2025, his perspective had shifted dramatically. In 2 YouTube videos, now deleted, one 10 minutes, 120, he's seen pacing nervously, muttering to himself, and flipping through journals written in a mix of English and a homemade Russian Cyrillic code. The pages reveal deep regret. He wrote, quote, "I only keep the long hair because it is pretty much my last shred of being trans. I'm tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself," end quote. He planned to cut his hair on the attack day, adding, quote, "I can't cut my hair now as it would be an embarrassing defeat, and it might be a concerning change of character that could get me reported. It just always gets in my way," end quote. Another entry digs even deeper, quote, "I don't want to dress girly all the time, but I guess sometimes I really like it. I know I am not a woman, but I definitely don't feel like a man. I'm stuck in this body and it's tearing me apart," end quote. He described trying on dresses in secret and then feeling ashamed, writing, "I look ridiculous, but sometimes I can't stop myself." In one chilling moment, he wrote on a gun magazine, "I'm the woker baby. Why so queerious?" A phrase tied to his identity struggles. In the videos, he rants, "I thought transitioning would fix me, but it's like I'm living a lie I can't escape." He also wrote, "I hate how I'm seen as trans now, like it's all I am. I want to be more, but I don't know who that is." Another entry reveals his isolation. Quote, "I stopped talking to friends because they only saw Robin, not Robert. I felt like a fraud, hiding hiding behind this name, end quote. He confessed, I look in the mirror and not recognize myself. I wanted to be someone else, but I didn't know how. In one journal, he wrote about family tension. Mom keeps asking why I'm distant, but how do I tell her I hate who I became? I try to be Robin for her, but it's like I'm betraying Robert every day.
In his diary, he admitted that he wished he would have never brainwashed himself. I want to point out the fact that this is what happens when society encourages people to pursue quick fixes for their deep struggles rather than helping them find lasting healing in truth. Individuals are getting rewarded for something that isn't true, and the more they keep feeding the beast that's within themselves, it will never turn out positive. This is a tragedy that shows how dangerous it can be when society feeds into confusion. We need to stop affirming delusions and start helping people find true identity, hope, and freedom. This young man was haunted by his decisions that kept messing with his mind. Robert's identity crisis and shame of transitioning was likely the turmoil that erupted into violence. This is why it's important that we find our identity in something that's unshakable. More details about Robert's motive surfaced.
Manifesto takes a darker turn. Robert's journals reveal an obsession with violence, fixating on the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre where 20 kids were killed. He scrawled Lanza for shooter Adam Lanza on his gun magazines, alongside, quote, for the children, ha 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 ha, and kill Donald Trump. He wrote 6 million wasn't enough, a hateful Holocaust reference, and labeled a smoke grenade Jew gas. His notebooks included a detailed sketch of Annunciation Church's layout titled Annunciation from Memory in Siluric, showing he'd scouted the place he attended until graduating in 2017. He wrote, quote, I'm feeling good about Annunciation. It seems like a good combo of easy attack, form, and devastating tragedy. I want to avoid any parents, but pre and post school drop off, end quote.
9mm go bang.
He planned to barricade the doors with lumber to trap victims, showing cold calculation. In the videos, he flashes white supremacy signs, uses racial slurs, and wears a shirt saying, do it before the anxiety kicks in, while admitting, quote, I am not well, I am not right, I am a sad person haunted by these thoughts that do not go away. I know this is wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself. I'm severely depressed and have been thinking of taking my own life for years. I've been dreaming of this moment, planning every detail because it's the only thing that makes me feel alive.
We can see that Robert was living in deception. Things that were evil he thought were good. These disturbing obsessions led Robert to manifest, and he couldn't control himself anymore. The Bible says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Robert not only came into agreement with darkness, but he let it take over him, eventually leading to his own demise and the tragedy of 2 children. My heart truly goes out to the families, man, that's involved, man, that lost their kid, man, that's suffering, their kid suffering, going to be traumatic experience for the rest of their lives, man. We just pray for them, man, because it's very upsetting to see how much chaos is just in the world right now for no reason. Should it be a problem with a certain group of people? And I think that's really crazy, man. What do you guys think in the comments, man? Let me know below.